All right, let's try again. Welcome to the stream. I unmuted my desktop instead of my microphone. I was looking at my audio going, what is going on here? It's broken. Not broken. Just me not being smart. Anyways, welcome everybody to the stream. I just realized it's been since last Monday. I had intended to stream Thursday. Thursday was when I went in to get some work done on my teeth. The job, they actually weren't able to complete it. I was in quite a bit of pain that night. I took some painkillers and went to bed. And it was Sunday before I realized that I'd missed my stream on Thursday. So I apologize about that. I didn't intend for that to happen. And yesterday was Mother's Day, so spent some time with my family. Had a lot of fun with them. Spent some time with my daughter making my wife's favorite breakfast. She likes a version of French toast that you have to basically, it has to sit in the fridge overnight, and then you bake it in the oven. It takes a little bit of effort to prepare, but well worth it. And we just spent some time together and wound up making some fajitas for dinner, which came out pretty well. We made homemade flour tortillas, then just some chicken fajitas. And, you know, a wok is an amazing tool. Cooking the meat in the wok and then adding the peppers and onions and stuff really worked well. So that was a lot of fun. But it's good to be back. Thursday. I want to do some Angular 18 stuff Thursday for sure. So if we don't finish things today, we will definitely be doing Angular 18 stuff on Thursday. What else? I don't know. I don't know why this is taking so long. There's nothing here that's, well, maybe Cypress is large, but I don't think it is. Like Zod is typically fairly small, and then the ESLint stuff is small. So I'm not sure what could be going on here. Let's just go take a look. So it marked that file as needing an upgrade, and it marked these as needing an upgrade. So I'm gonna just break out of this, and let's just do a pnpm. We can do it with no frozen lock file and just see what happens here. So it looks like it's going okay. Found everything. Added to. Oh, maybe it was stuck in the post install script and I broke out of it, and so we're gonna have to sit through that again. Once this is done, we'll get everything up and running. That's the one thing I didn't do before the stream. I didn't take a look at Arc, so let's get Arc updated. I did look at using like a different profile in Chrome. That doesn't work so well trying to use the same accounts and the same plugins and stuff. I think maybe what I'll do is try to just create a second profile and copy like my plugins and stuff over and my bookmarks and things. And see if I can get that to work. Just mainly don't want to like. The main reason that I'm just looking for like a second browser, and maybe maybe using Brave is another option. The Brave browser is pretty good, and it's another Chromium-based browser. Yeah, I just don't want to accidentally share information about like my family or stuff like that. So I need to be more careful about that. So I'm looking at ways to isolate like my personal stuff from my streaming stuff. I don't have enough to have like my own, separate streaming computer and personal computer. It's all the same thing. So that's why, I'm using Brave right now, or not Brave, Arc, but I'll figure something out. Let's go take a look at our upgrades. So yeah, it is the Cypress post install script that's really kind of bogging us down. And I'm curious if we have a whole bunch of open host windows again, right? Did see recently that a lot of people are abandoning Windows 11, going back to Windows 10 because of issues they're having. So I do have some open node processes that aren't doing anything. And there's typically like some Windows console stuff going on down here. Driver, audio. Oh yeah, there's a whole bunch of console hosts here. Let's see if we can kill a few of these. If we can fix things up. And I'm not sure what happens when we get into this state. It's actually a little bit frustrating. I think there's something that goes on where it's opening windows in the background. It's not closing those windows, so it's not releasing file handles. It's not releasing locks on lock files and things like that. Let's go ahead and just exit out of this too. Oh. Let's go ahead and kill all of that. Let's make sure that all of my console hosts are dead. That all looks good. So let's try again. PNPM install, no frozen lock file. Looks like we're up to date. Okay. I'll take it. Let's go ahead and stage these files, and we upgraded dependencies. And we'll push this. And then here, PNPM NX affected, and we'll run tests and just see what happens. That'll give us a chance to see if they compile and things like that, and if the tests will run. And if they will, then we'll turn around. Yeah, so that's the same test that we had, or failing test that we had before, and we can fix that later. So let's go ahead and pnpm nx serve our blog. And testing is definitely something I want to do with analog. So there we go. We've got things up and running on port 4200, and that's not what I wanted to do. I want to bring it up over here. So here we go, 4200, we're up and running. All articles looks to be going well. And our main article seems to be going okay. I think we're good here. So at this point, what we need to do is take a look at Contentful. And blending a smoothie. So here's our post, right? We've got our authors, and we've got our blog posts. And then within our blog posts, we should be able to see our content itself. Content model, here's our content. So, you know, we've got me listed as an author, and then we've got the 2 articles that we created last week with AI. So the next thing to take a look at is how do we get our entries out of here, right? How do we create queries? And so, let's take a look at that. So let's go here to the docs, and let's take a look at the content delivery API. So it's under there. We will need to create an access token. So let's prepare for an access token, and then I'll get one created and then added. The other thing to do is, I believe it's under tutorials, getting started. Building a backend, verifying requests. Is this the one we want? Enable request verification. On the front end, once a secret has been created, signing requests made by the app front end is done. Calling with the adapter. Creating a configuration screen. I don't think we care about that. Get a Contentful app. There was a way to, we'll look for this here in a little bit, but we need to get the API key in place, right? So there are a couple of things that we need to do. We want to secure this key. And so let's see, let's go and set this up here. So for right now, let's do this. in the article container, let's just print our key for now, and then in the future we'll clean it up. We'll take it out. But I would like to get it into here. So to do that, we're going to use the environments. And do we have... Interesting. Let's go take a look. How would we add? So if we go here and we go to analog, and inside of here, we search for, we'll search for environments. There we go. So environment variables, find config, some URL prefix. I don't think these are the ones that we want. This isn't environment variables. What we want to grab is from the environments file. We want to set some stuff in there, and we want to use .env in the environments. What's under experimental, single file, components, guides. Global styles and scripts. So I think Angular now has Angular environments. I think there's a generator now. So let's go take a look here. And environment, generate environment, yeah. So there is a generate environments. And that will set up our environments TS and all of that stuff. So we can come here and we can go into our NX plugin. I want to do this. Run anything. Let's just do a generate. Here we want environments. So there's the schematic that it's going to run. Telling me that I'm missing a required property. Just go here. Where's the NX generator? Actually, I can just go here. Let's just do this. Generate. There we go. So we want it to generate environments. So there we go. And now it's going to ask us what we want. And the name of the project we want to generate it for is the Angular blog. So now it's generating our environments. So it's added our environments.ts and environments.development.ts. Great. We're going to go ahead and generate that. And now we can go take a look at what it changed. And close that. So within here, we should see our environments file. Where did that get at? Angular blog source. There it is, environments. So these are our two files here. There's nothing in them right now. And then the other thing it updated was the angular.json. Which is at the root level, I believe. Actually, we can just go take a look. Let's go ahead and just close this, and we just look here at what actually changed, right? So it changed project.json. So in development mode, it's going to use the development server, or the development environment. Otherwise, it just added these two environments. And then it did some reformatting. So let's say we added Angular environments. And then the next thing that I like to do, especially with stuff like this, is we want to use .env. So Angular use .env for environments file. And .env will read from either the environment variables or a .env file. So you install this .env, and then in your shell you can use key value pairs, or you can create a .env file. And then, yeah, you can see that we can grab it from process.environment.api key. So let's just make sure that that is the right install for that. So that's not what I wanted. .env npm. So this is the package that allows you to work with .env stuff. Oh, even works. I've got a special call out to warp. This is like my new favorite terminal. I'm counting down the days until I can get this in Windows. I love it on my Mac. So yeah, it's just .env. So we'll go ahead and copy this. And here from our command line, we'll go ahead and break out and we'll paste this. Yeah, it's fine. Oh, wait. No. Oh, we want to make sure that we do that with a PNPM. There we go. Almost made a mess of things, having two different package managers going. Actually, let's go take a look and just make sure. Yeah, I've got two files here. No, that's fine. Package.json's fine. Yarn-lock is fine. We'll go ahead and stage all these changes. And add .env. So now that we've got .env, we can do some cool things. So the first thing we can do is we can go into the root of our directory here, and we can just add a new file. If we just name this file .env, oh, we've already got one. Really? I'm going to just take a look at this really quick and make sure there's nothing in here. Okay, we're fine. NX has added some stuff to it. And one thing I don't recommend doing is committing your .env files. So let's see what happens. So what you do with a .env file is you give it the same name as you would give in your shell. So here, what we can do is we can say, hey, our contentful key equals, and for right now, we're just going to do test contentful key. And there we go. So now we've got our test contentful key in place. And one thing I want to do is I want to take a look and make sure. Oh, see, look, it's a good thing that we tested. I don't recommend committing your .env files. And so this one's on me. I didn't realize that we had one already. So what we're going to do, we're going to say, hey, ignore this, and we want to ignore it and stop tracking. So it's adding the .env file, and it's removing it from our stuff. So there we go. We're just going to say, hey, we're going to stop tracking .env file. And the reason I don't recommend committing it is your .env file should be like, it should be similar to the environment settings for your shell. So like in Bash or your Windows terminal or whatever, it's the same as setting those variables in the shell. And if you commit this, then you can't add secrets to this file, and then you have to add them to the shell, and it becomes a little bit frustrating. If you don't commit this .env file, then what you can do is you can have this file sitting in your directory, and then potentially share it with team members or things like that, right? But it allows you to keep your keys separate from the rest of, from everything else. Because now what we can do, now that we've got this in place, we can go to our environments file. And inside of here, we can say, hey, we want our contentful key to be, and now we can say process.environment, and we grab our contentful key. Okay, so it wants us to access it with contentful key. There we go. So we've cleaned that up. And now we've got that in place, and we can do the same with our developer environment. So we can just say, hey, our contentful key. And again, we can just grab it from process.environment, contentful key. And there we go. So now we've got our contentful key in both places. And so now, we said we wanted to show it here. So within our script, we can just add const, and we can say, hey, our contentful key equals, and here we aren't going to do process.environment, but what we can do is we can do inject environment, and then we can grab our contentful key off of it. So there we go. So we need to inject that. Saying type mismatch. Oh, we just do environment dot? Oh, it's a lowercase e. And now we can import this from there. We can get rid of this one that I added. There we go. Now we've got our contentful key. And then just right here, we can just, add a pre-tag. We could say, hey, contentful key, and we can add contentful key. So there we go. We now have that in place. And so now if we go take a look at our application and we go to the home page, we don't have, where did our contentful key go? Router outlet, home, article container. Let's slide this out a bit. What is this on? Well, first of all, I made a mess there, so let's clean that up. And this is in the article container component. Now, if we refresh this, site can't be reached. Am I not serving it? I am not serving it. That's why we're not seeing any changes. Martine, I was just thinking about you. Thank you for showing up. You guys really need to check out Martine. She's been doing some awesome stuff. I've been kind of lurking sometimes. So call out Martine. Yeah. You guys should definitely check out Martine. If you guys don't know, Martine was who sponsored me for the Angular GDE. And she and Michael are just amazing people. They do a lot of stuff in the community. And so thank you so much for showing up. Really happy to have you here. We also need to get together and kind of do some kind of stream. Things are starting to calm down for me. So I'm going to be reaching out and we'll be talking soon. But yeah. Thank you for showing up. Makes me a little bit happy to just have Martine in the stream today. So I broke something because that's what I do best is I break stuff. Process is not defined. So what did I do with my .env, right? So that's a Node.js process. Let's go take a look. So we set up our .env file. We got to require it, and then we can. That's what I'm missing. Or we can import .env/config. So we do have to call require.env new environment plugin. Is that really what we do? it is a fun time when what did we even talk about last time? Like we got into like farming and just weird stuff, right? Um, you know what? NX is providing variables for us too. So NX environment variables. Maybe I didn't need to add .env. So NX has environment variables. That's not what we wanted. We want to see how to reference them. Define environment variables. Yeah, we could throw them in a .env file. Use environment variables in Angular applications. There we go. Setting the define option of the application X. Support for the define option requires 17.2. Good thing we're on 17.2. In Angular applications, so the executor is the NX Angular application. No. I don't want to do it this way. Like this is really cool that they've added these define sections, and you can use them for like debugging and stuff in your code, which is kind of cool. But that's not what I want. Process env. So you have to define. And you can use process.env. Yes, build plugin. You can provide a custom ES build plugin to the NX Angular application or the browser ES build. Yeah, I don't want to do that either. My org API URL. See, I've used the .env, but I always have to look this up, and I always get stuck in these .env Angular environment. Webpack and .env. .env config. Production this, API, blah, blah, blah. Well, this might not work. The environments might work if we use it as a compile time file. And they want to use the NGX ENV builder. I don't want to do that. How to easily add environment variables to Angular. Custom Webpack. .env, create a custom Webpack configuration. Hey, thanks, Martine. Thanks for showing up. I remember everything and anything. Yeah. We'll see you later. Thank you for showing up. It is a bit late for you, so thank you for showing up in your evening. Process.env. I think I'm going to have to just do the NX stuff. So nx.env. Find environment variables. I want to load env files from other ones listed below. Use the env command. Using environment variables in Windows. So we are using the Angular application builder, and we can see that here. What do I have open going on over here? Anyway, so if we go take a look at our project.json here, we can see that we are using, we're using the analog platform Vite. Analog dot env file. A little bit bright. I wonder if I just add the here, if I just do require dot env.config, it's not going to like that. No var requires. I think that will work, and we can do the same here. We're think we can go here and just import that. And now let's see if our build works. That seems to work. So now we go here and we go back to our application. Still doesn't know what process is not in, it's not defined. Dang it. Use environment variables. So there, when you use one of the NX Angular executors, dev server. Oh, that's the NX Angular one. Yeah. So we can use a custom ES build plugin. So in the project.json, got the build object, the serve object. Can we add plugins here? We can. But I don't know if I want to do that. Loads.env file contents into process.env by default. This should define stuff when this gets loaded. But it is a little bit frustrating. Angular.env. not what we want to do. Remember going through this before. Process.env. That's just JavaScript. Oh, these are .env files are static. Or environment files are static. I forgot that. I always forget this. And I don't want to add process stuff to components themselves. Yeah. So we do need that custom plugin. And that will allow our .env files to work. But we need to treat our environment files like static files. So to get this to work, okay. So we do need this plugin. And we also need to add, under options, we add the plugins. So if we go to our project.json, output options here, we need to add plugins. And here we can add a new plugin. We're just going to add it here on the root. So we'll just do /plugins / and the plugin will add, we'll call it the same thing. So env-var plugins.js. And we may have to go apps. So there we go. So now we've got our plugin. it looks like we need to go Angular blog here. So we'll just do Angular dash blog. So now we need to create a folder. New folder. This is our plugins. And within our plugins folder, where did that go? Oh, it's right there at the top. Cancel that. So within our plugins folder, we want a new file. This file we will call our env, our plugins. And we're just going to copy this and then we'll modify it a little bit. So there we go. Now we'll go back here and nope, that's not what we wanted to copy. We wanted this plugin here. Here's our plugin. And here, what we can do is we can require .env.config. And here we can say our env var plugin is that in the build, want the initial options. And here, so really, there's only one key we want. And this is the only one we want. So here we can say that we want our API, or no, this is our, what do we call this one? This is our contentful key. We can just say contentful underscore key is that. Great. So we've added that to our environment variables. We're defining process.env. That should work. And our compile should work. So now if we go back to our application, process is not defined. We probably need to restart just because it's not picking up the plugin. So we'll go ahead and grab that and see if it picks up our plugin and sets that process.env stuff. So there we go. And no. Process is not defined. How annoying is that? How very annoying is that? So we've got our plugin. We required that. Let's just see console.log env vars. So we'll just see if we write anything when we build. So it should write out our env vars. And it didn't. So our plugin let's go take a look at how it works with analog. Analog.js here. Overview. Different output formats. app.config.env. Um, yeah, this is probably a good call. Stop using. That's probably a good. Hmm. I think I did this in GitHub. I think I did this in one of my repos. Um, I don't think I did it in Full Stack Dynos, did I? Is it here? Was it in the RX Star Wars API? Because I think you have to have an API key for that, right? Oh, no .env in this one either. Hmm. It was in the Angular dynos. I know it was because it was the keys to um, um, dynos. It was the keys to the Postgres database. Full stack dynos. So inside of here, not the one we want. Packages. Dynos API inside of here. In our app, here. No, this is just the service itself. Is it the app module? So we are grabbing it here. But I think because this is a server application, we do have access to the process.env. And that's why it's working, because this runs on the server, so we can grab stuff from the process. The problem we've got is in the front end, we don't have access to that process. So what this plugin is supposed to do, if we take a look at it, is it sets up this ESBuild stuff. And we're calling .env.config, but I don't think we're calling this plugin. And because we're not calling the plugin, it's not working. So let's go reset this stuff. So we can discard this. Oh, I threw everything away. That's not gonna work. I don't want to spend too much more time on this. I've already spent quite a bit of time, already over an hour on this. I was hoping to already be grabbing stuff from Contentful at this point in time. We're just going to do it this way. Contentful key. Yeah, we'll just put your key here. Environments TS. Contentful key, your key here. Right? And so now, when this runs, now we should see. Oh, I haven't added it back in. So if we go take it here, we can just say import environment from there. Is that not right? So that would go there. I do have my environments. I need to go one more, I believe. There we go. And then here, I should just be able to add my pre-tags, and I can say contentful key, and here we can just add environment dot contentful key, and that should do it for us. So now when we go refresh this page, reading contentful key. Do I need to restart? The environments file are there. Nope, it's still saying it's not there. Cannot read properties of undefined, reading contentful key. There's my environment. It's coming from this file, so it's there. Import environment from there. We can get rid of this. Doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't expose that unless I add we don't want it in the imports. I think we can do with analog, and I don't think it's imports. What is it? It's go take a look at the analog documentation, right? Get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of that. We'll just go here and change this. Analog.js. And here under single file components, v that, we define that, additional configuration. external templates and styles. There's a command we can add to the import that will allow it to be exposed. Yeah. So here we've got the analog imports. Exposes, that's the one I'm looking for. So now that we've imported that with the exposes, now it should be available in the template. And yeah, so we can see our contentful key there at the top. So we've exposed that from the, we've exposed it from the environments file. And one thing we could do to see where it's coming from is we could just say dev on this one, and then we can see, you know, which one shows at the top, right? So it's the one from the environments file. And that's because that change is only done at the time of compile. So let's take that pre-tag out. So there we go. So now if we take a look, we refresh. Why is my contentful key still there? That built. It is definitely not there. When we refresh, we've still got it. Let's try killing it and try again. See what happens. Actually, we can see it's grabbing it from the development.ts. Interesting. All right. So there we are. On Contentful, we need to create some keys. To do that, I believe we go under Settings, and we add API keys. And what you would do is you would click this button. I'm going to hide what I'm doing here, just because I don't want this API key to be out there. I'm creating the API key. It's got a description. The space ID. So I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to put it here. And I'm going to put it here. And then I'm going to close these. So there we go. So now we've got those two keys in place. And I'll probably shut them down afterwards anyway, just in case I accidentally expose them. I just don't want, I get like a million calls. I don't want somebody hitting that site a million times right now. And basically, you know, ruining the key as we're doing it. There's my test API key. It's there. So the next thing to do is, let's just say contentful Angular tutorial. There was a tutorial on contentful. So we create the app. We generate the service. This is a contentful service. So we'll do this. So we have to add the contentful stuff here. So we'll go ahead and add in the contentful stuff to our project. And let's make sure that we do this with PNPM. So we're now adding contentful to our project. So there we go. We've now added it. Let's go ahead and generate our service. So on our services, where is, we called it data access. We've got services. Here we go. So we're going to go ahead and run this, and this will be our contentful service. Whoops, this is a service. And this is where, call it the contentful service. And then we show all of our options. And that's fine. And we'll go ahead and generate this. So we should get our contentful service over here, and then we'll go ahead and commit this. There we go. So if I go over here and we refresh this, source app services. Okay, so they're right here. Awesome. So we've now got those. We can go ahead and close this, close down the generator, and we've got our service here. So now we'll create our service based on what's in here. And that's all fine. They're marking theirs as injectable this way, so we'll do the same. So we won't have ours provided in root. It will just be injectable. That's fine. We've added contentful. So now we need create client and entry. And we need the space and the access token and the content type IDs. So we can grab all of that from our contentful stuff. So if we go look here, I believe this comes from content model. It's like blog posts here. We can copy the ID. Okay. That's what we want. Where are my statuses? So published, changed archives. Where do I get my spaces from? Settings, under environments. There we go. So there is my key. So inside of here, we'll just add the space key. Or actually, we'll just add config equals this. We're going to hard code this. Probably the best way to do it would be to read it off of your environment or something like that. We're going to hard code it just to go a little bit faster. So we need space, access token, and then content type IDs. So we've got our space, which is that. No, that is not my space ID. this published. Where do I get these? Where do I get these IDs from? Product category. Like, where do I get that ID? Just a second. I'm gonna take a look at the settings under the API keys. And I'm looking at the test API key here because it's got a space ID here. Oh, you know what? I don't have to hide this. It's not going to show anything unless I click that. So, so the space ID is that, but I don't know where I get that key from. But we'll go ahead and copy this. There's my space ID. And then here we can say that we get the key, and that comes from environment dot contentful key. So there we go. So now we've got that. And then if we take a look, the last thing we need to do on our config, we got the access token. But here, the content type IDs product. So here we'll add the same content type IDs. And here we can say articles. And if we go take a look in Contentful at our articles, our blog posts, copy the ID, where That is so weird. I wonder if the IDs have changed to be the names themselves. We'll give this a shot and see what happens. So now we can fetch data. So we create the client with the space and the access token. So let's do the same here. And we'll just say that, hey, our client equals create client. And inside of here, we can just say space is on this dot config dot space and access token is this dot config dot key. So that should set up our client. We don't need this constructor. So the next thing we can do is we can just get our articles. So I'm just going to copy this. And we can just say get articles. And we'll paste that in here. Oh, so it returns a promise. Actually, let's just get rid of that, and let's get rid of that. We pull in entry. We call this get articles. Got a query. It's not CDA client, it's just client. And it's this dot config content type IDs dot articles and query. So that gets our articles. So now inside of our state management, that's a theme store. We've already got the article service. So here, we can just say that we want to return from, and from can consume a promise. So we can inject our you just say const contentful service equals inject contentful service, and that's fine. Boom, we'll pull that in. And we'll grab our inject also. And this will be read only. And we're going to make it private. So here, now we can say that we want from this dot contentful service dot get articles. And it doesn't like that because get articles doesn't return an article model. So we can fix that. So here we can see that res.items. So for right now, what we can do is we can just console.log items and then return res.items as article model array. And this can be article model array. Oh, interesting. Fields type and string. So for right now, we're just going to return an empty array. And this is just going to return an article model array. So there we go. That fixes that. This one looks like it's fixed. I need to serve this, and we should be good to go. Oh, hey, I've got somebody over on YouTube. Brandon. Really? Hey, man, good to see you here. Thanks for showing up, man. I can add a Vite contentful key and access import. Oh, thank you. I'm going to make that change afterwards, so I don't have to shut things down. Thank you, Brandon. I didn't even see YouTube on the side. I need to move this so I can see it. But thank you for that. That's huge help. But this should work. Let's see what we get here. It's not going to get our articles all the way to the we go to all articles. We're not calling. What calls get all articles again? So here, get articles. Get all articles is calling that. Is it not building? So it is, so all articles component should be using that. So this should be calling it. let's just console log this, right? And we should see this show up in our there we go. We haven't provided the contentful service. You know what? I'm just going to make this one provided in root. I don't know why they didn't do that either. In their example, but I don't see a reason why we wouldn't want to. Now, if we refresh this, all articles. We want to go to all articles. No articles found. So contentful gave us back 2 articles. So the fields are author, content, published date, and title. The author has fields in it. And we can see we've got stuff here. There's the ID on our article, I believe. If we look under sys, yeah, those have to be the article IDs. Created time and the updated time. But we also want the content, the published date, and the title. And then we've got our author as a first name and last name. So we need to take this entity here that we've got and turn this into an article that we can give back. So if we look, it's got how does that work? Let's look some more at their example, right? So we grab this, get that. So here, how are they pulling this apart? They're again going entry any, calling get products, setting products to that. See, I don't like the way they're doing the entry any. Products.fields.product name. So I'm curious if I do, let's just do let's do const mapped equals res.items.map. Great. And here we will return, and we want this to be the ID. We'll grab from there item.fields, and we can look in our app and we can look at what it showed. So our fields, we have author, content, and title. Title probably has to be accessed Using an indexer is probably what it's, yeah. So that works. You'd say content is that. And then the other one we have is the publish date. We can say published date is that. And then we can say author. Is author a, let's look at our article model and just make sure. So author is just a string. And so if we go back to our service here, that's not the one we want. We want this one. So we can say author is items.fields author. And here we can just say const author equals that. And actually and then we can just do author author.fields. So author is an entity. Can I tell it that it's an entity? Can't tell it that it's an entity. What is it saying here? So it could be a string, a number, a Boolean, a JSON object. So what if we do item.fields author first name? And it doesn't like that because it can't be used to index that type. So author also has fields with first name and last name. Now it doesn't like this. This object is possibly null. It doesn't like this because fields does not exist on type string. But it's entry. Not entity, it's entry. Fields, so item, I've got to also wrap this in an object with fields. How does this work? So get entries. Takes an entry skeleton type. Does that work? Here, can I say author? That works. We got string title. Undefined string. Title is never. How does this work? API. I hate when we use any because it's kind of punting. Um, Take a look at the API reference here. The delivery API the entry object here get all locales of a space. JavaScript client libraries, client library reference. So we're using get entries. Entries query. The entry skeleton. Entry skeleton type. The fields type is a record string any. Entry skeleton and modifiers. Entry skeleton fields. Create client returns a contentful API client with modifiers on it. And we're calling get entries. What does parse entries do? I saw that here. What does this do? Into a collection of entries. Just so entry skeleton. Fields type is just a record string any. Instead of doing that, can I just do that? No. Doesn't like this. Fields and content type ID. But if I do that, then we're fine. But then down here, the author is of type never, and that's annoying. I mean, now we can just grab like title and author straight off the. So I'm curious about this. But it doesn't like author as fields because it thinks it's a string. For now, we'll just throw author on here. And let's see what we get. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to get out of this, but let's see. See what I've broken. We refresh this. Got our articles. That seems to be working, but it's saying that we got no articles found. Oh, yeah. Let's console.log mapped. And let's even try returning mapped. It's probably going to blow up. Let's see in which way it blows up, right? Wow. Actually, so our image is broken, but that's okay. And it's also saying that we've got an invalid date time. Getting articles from Contentful. We got our articles. Here are our mapped articles. So our author is still metadata. Our published date is a date of May 7th. So we'll have to take a look at what's going on there. But we've got the streamlining Angular development, single file components. So we've got both of these, which is a big deal. We're in a better place. So eventually we can turn this into, we can see that it's using Markdown. But the question is, how do we tell it? So one thing we can do, it's giving me all these nevers. And that is just annoying. I don't know why these are nevers. Oh, this is that, right? Does that turn those into nevers? Oh, yeah, that really breaks things. So our response comes back as that with undefined and a string. See, I don't get why I'm getting nevers out of these. So here, item. I mean, one thing we can do here is we can say, hey, omit from article model we want to omit author. And then we are going to add on an object that has author, and it is going to be entry skeleton type of first name string, last name string. So there we go, we've got that. And now if we look at our author here, author is a date, what? I don't understand the never. Because that should work that way, but it's telling me that author is a never. I don't get why. The item is of type that and that. Create client takes in a params and it returns a contentful API client of type unknown. Why is it returning type unknown? And the thing is, I can't pass in params here. So let's go take a look at contentful, provide strong types for queries. I don't want to use GraphQL. TypeScript in JavaScript. There we go. You must be familiar with JavaScript. That's fine. You need queries of a content type blog post, which has several different blah, blah, blah. Define the shape of the content. Generating type definitions. Content types. You know, we would do this, but anyway. Content type ID. Oh, we need to provide that, and then the fields. It's on the get entries that we provide that. Get entries, that. And then I think we can just do here, we can do, this is our blog posts. Does that work? No. So if we take out the entry skeleton type, and instead, here we say this is fields, which is that. And then here we can say this is content type, right? That. Doesn't like this because content type ID. Boom. So now, is that still type never? Why is that type never? What is going on here? Does this compile? It looks like it compiles. And if we refresh, the problem we're getting is the optimized image. So our map stuff is coming out. So the author's right, the content is right, the ID is right, the published date. It doesn't like, it says it's an invalid date and time, but we can fix that. And the title is fine. So the only other thing we need to do is here, after author, just add an image URL, and the image URL we will use from create test article. Image width and height. You know what? We can just cheat. We've got all of this stuff up here. So instead of returning that critical service, here in our contentful service, we can just do create test article out of mapped. And then anything we didn't provide it will be generated from, why doesn't it like that? Image height and image width. Do we require that? We did require that. So inside of here, we can just say image height It's 250. Image width is 250. We're doing a little bit of hacking here just to make stuff work. It hasn't caught up. Because it looks like we're good here. Now if we go take a look, oops, that's not the one we wanted. We'll go take a look at all articles. No articles found. New collection symbol iterator is not a function. So I broke something else. Image height number, image width number, this type with image height number, image width number, image height, oh, this array. I'm in the wrong place. That doesn't belong here. Belongs here. There we go. Publish date doesn't exist on there? Oh, it's just date. And we don't want from the system. Oh, did I just freeze? Great. Why did I freeze? That's awesome. I need to end soon anyway. Why am I frozen? Not. It's just WebStorm that's frozen. Fun. Come on, WebStorm, you can do it. I'm not even using that much RAM. I can't move my mouse down there to show it to you. Oh, my picture is covering it anyway. You can see down in that bottom corner that using very little RAM. How did I break you?